Okay guys, today I'm going to explain to you the expert system. Okay, usually this is one of the most confusing question at the exam. A lot of students just speak in their mind. Please, if they give you this kind of question, what is this expert system? How are you going to develop expert system for this illness, for this type of new creature, for this new plants? You have to answer, your answer should include all these boxes or the step that explains these boxes. So what is expert system consisting of? Alright, it's consisting of rule-based, knowledge-based, inference engine, explanation, and your user interface. So let's understand in detail which one is that one. Alright, expert system is mimicking the real expert in life, like doctors, like scientists, like engineer. Okay, instead of bringing these people, it could be sometimes expensive, sometimes it's not available all the time, so you can just make it a computer system. So this computer system is going to be developed by a software programmers, but with the help of the expert in that field, to create it as a program that reach a conclusion after the user can ask some question. So let's take example of the illness diagnosis. If we want a system of computer that give you the answer to what the symptom you may have. For example, if you have fever, if you have itchy eyes, you have whatever, a headache, so then the answer may be, hey, you have a flu, go and take that drug, or you just give you some approximation, nothing absolute here. Let's understand what is expert system about and how we're going to explain this question at the exam. Alright, then first you have real expert. You see that smiley face here? This is like Einstein. You bring in a doctor, for example. You bring in doctors. Those doctors, they give you a knowledge base about illness. So this is database, guys. When you say knowledge base, is a database about that, about the information that collected from real expert. So you're collecting all this information and you build them on knowledge base on database. For example, flu. What is the symptom? Number 1 is headache. Number 2 is itchy eyes. Number 3, maybe EUH. Number 4, feeling weak. Illness number 2, let's say malaria. Okay, what is the symptom? A fever that exceeding maybe 40 degree, whatever. You feeling nauseated, dizzy, whatever. So this is all put on the database for specific illness. Okay, this is the knowledge base collecting from real doctors or from the expert if there is engineering or people who discover new planet or whatever. So what is the rule base? Rule base is the software, the reasoning software that developed by the programmer. This is the program part of the software. So this is a database, knowledge base database, and rule base is a software. Usually in shape of if that, it will be like this. For example, if you have a fever, then you have a flu. If you have a fever, you have a malaria. If you have a fever, maybe you have a coronavirus. If you have a fever, and so on. Okay, it's like maybe hundreds, thousands of illness have associated with fever. So this is just rule based. So we're going to make it all in the shape of if. So this is a software will be developed to make extract from the knowledge base in case of coding and software. So this is rule based is the software that put the list of all of this database. Then what is going to happen? There is Inference Engine. What is Inference Engine? Inference Engine is just like a Google. This is the search engine. This is the search engine. Okay, just remember that one. So there is a user here. Have a user interface, maybe computer, a screen, a touch screen, whatever. So the user have a screen, usually have a question like yes or no. Do you feel headache? What do you feel? What is your symptoms? So when you write or you can make a query that, for example, I feel dizzy. So the inference engine is a search engine. It's take your input from the user interface to the and search it all over the knowledge base, and then it can retract this information from the rule base, and the inference engine can create the explanation for you. Okay, if it is explanation like, hey, you may have maybe a flu, please go and take a water and take a rest. This will be the explanation. This is the reasoning. So the inference engine will give explanation to the user interface, or it can give you more question. Okay, the inference engine, you see these arrows, it can give you more question like, okay, now I know you feeling, you feel some headache. Do you have a dry eye? Do you have a runny nose? So the inference engine, if they ask you to the user interface, this will be the link. It will not go through the explanation. Usually the explanation maybe is the final answer to what it might be. So when you develop a web, any what's called expert system, you should go through all that. Even the car diagnosis system. You know, when you plug it on the car, you can find all the faulty sensors, the faulty machine mechanics inside your cars. You know that small device, a tablet that can check all your car errors. This is also an expert system. You are not going to bring a real engineer to check all the sensors, and you bring the mechanic and you bring the electricity guy. No, it's checking all the sensors because there is a computer on the car. So if this is the case, also the expert system, so the engineering puts the knowledge base, the rule base developed by the programmers. The inference engine, it's part of the software that search for the match from the user or from the sensors in that case, and the explanation will be happening. I hope you understand what is expert system, and I will see you the next time.